Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to another Self-Working Saturday. Today's self-worker is called The Miracle Location by Ed Marlowe. Now, it was published in a little booklet called Pharaoh-Controlled Miracles. Yeah, that's the one. However, I'm going to teach you a version that does not use a Pharaoh, it just uses a regular riffle shuffle. A little bit easier to do, but it's still just as good, and I think you'll love it a lot. Let's get into it. Alright, so this is the trick. I will just explain what happens, because if I try to perform it, it won't translate well on camera, and you won't be fooled by it. All right. So here's what happens. Here's the actions. All right. So you have one spectator, and you turn your head the whole time, and you ask them to cut off some cards and look at it and remember it, and shuffle that packet up like this, so their cards hopelessly mixed inside of this packet. Now they put the cards back on top. They cut the deck, complete the cut, and say give it a riffle shuffle if you want to, just to make sure everything's mixed up. And even though your head was turned the whole time, and they did all that cutting and shuffling, you can always find the card. All right. So even magicians, when they watch this, they'll be scratching their head like, how is that going to work? You shuffle the deck, riffle shuffle, cut anywhere, then shuffle it again, blah blah blah. It seems impossible, but you can always find it, and here's how. So the best part is that you can start with a completely shuffled deck, and it still works. See, I got you there, didn't I? It's not a completely shuffled deck, because there is a setup, and what you need to have is the ace through king on the bottom of the deck like this in order, and with a cover card. All right, so you're gonna hide that by doing a block pushover like this. The cards are mixed up, they're all different, they're all here, and just doing block pushovers the whole way to make sure to really sell the fact that the cards are mixed up like that, hiding that setup. Ace through 10, or ace through king in order, ace being the face card with the cover card, and that's your setup. And I know you're probably clicking off this video right now because of that setup, because I mean, who likes a setup trick? But this one is worth it, and it's a shame that you won't do it because it really is a fantastic trick. Anyway, so what needs to happen at the very beginning, when you show that they're all different, blah blah blah, but just in case, I'll give it another shuffle. So what you're going to do is shuffle about maybe a third of the deck overhand into your hand, and throw that 2/3 on top, and then put the deck on the table. That centralizes that setup, that spade setup. Now you turn your head and you say, look, I don't want to see anything, I don't want to take, I don't want you to think I'm looking at the cards or nothing like that. So when you say that and you turn your head, you ask them to cut about half the cards and look at the card they cut to. Now it's kind of important to do this gesture so they know what card to look at, all right? So cut about half the cards and look at it, and so they'll know which card to look at, all right? So they do that, cut about half the cards, and we cut to the 8 of spades, all right? So that'll be our card. Now you say just shuffle those cards you just cut off so nobody can know where your card is, and then they do that. They shuffle these cards like this, put them back, and you ask them to put them back on top. You say, cut the deck and complete the cut, and this is all happening while your back is still turned. And now you go forward and say, oh, you cut the cards, but did you shuffle them? And they'll say no. And if they're a good shuffler, if you know that they can shuffle, just ask them to give it a good riffle shuffle. But if not, if they're sort of clumsy with cards, you can do the whole the Rosetta thing like this, and then have them push them together, which is still pretty effective, and it gets the job done. And just like this, all right? So this does not disturb the setup, and in fact, this makes it easier, right? So they do that, they give it a shuffle, and we can move on to the next step. So now to find the card, you have to be an actual psychic, because how could you possibly find that card not after all that cutting and shuffling? Alright, so that's the trick. I hope you have some psychic abilities so you can do this trick. It's very effective, and once you get it mastered, you work on the psychic, abilities, you'll be doing these tricks in no time, alright? So, no, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry about that, I'm an asshole. So here's how you find the card, alright? So it's very, very simple. All you're going to do is turn the deck face up and start spreading through like this, and then obviously you want to have the faces towards yourself so they can't see what's happening, alright? So all you're going to do is look for the card that's out of sequence. That's it. All right, so since the cards were in ascending order from ace, and none of those cards on the bottom were affected by that shuffle with the packet, the card that's out of sequence will always going to be their card, all right? So we know that's the 8. It was the 8 of spades, right? So we spread through, and you look for the ace of spades, all right? So if we can see ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See, there's the 9. So it went 7 and to skip the 8, and I see a 9. So I know that their card is the 8 of spades because of the out of sequence. And in fact, this probably would not work without that riffle shuffle, all right? So you actually kind of need the riffle shuffle for this to work, all right? So It's always a good idea to not just take out the card right away when you find it. So to make the presentation a little bit more entertaining and impossible seeming, you just go through and this is what I do at least. All right, so you go through, you know, it's the 8 of spades. So you just take it out and you act kind of like, is it this one or this one? I don't know. So same. I think I'll always go with my first instinct. I think I'll take that card out. And what we're gonna do here is miscall the card at first. So you pick it up and you say, was your card the 2 of spades? And they'll say, no. And then you'll say, good, because that would have been a bad trick. Alright guys, so that'll do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked the trick, and I hope you still enjoy the self-working Saturdays. And yeah, until next time, happy practicing. I love you guys.